Hello everybody, today we will be doing O1B Notes ArrayList Tracing Part 2. There's actually an O1A Notes ArrayList Tracing Part 1, but we actually already went through these examples. If you would like to, just go to Edpuzzle and you can actually watch these same examples. These are the more challenging ones. So we're going to start with example F. So it's asking us what the output is when the list is passed to the method. So let's go ahead, start by just tracing each of these. So we'll start with I at 0, and we'll just sort of see what happens to this list. So I is still less than size minus 1. Our size in this case is just going to be, right now it's 5. So size minus 1 is going to be 4. So we will go up through potentially 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. In terms of the items, just reminding you of what our positions are. So this says if list.getI is greater than list.getI plus 1. So let's see, position I is at 0, which is here. Position I plus 1 is going to be here. So it says if this is true, in this case, 8 is greater than 2. So for I equals 0, we are going to go ahead and do what the if statement says. So in this case, if I is 0, temp is going to be eight, and then it says remove I. So since we're removing I, we are going to remove at position 0, which is the 8. And then it says list.add temp. So what's going to happen now is we are going to add this to, since it didn't say which index, we are just going to add this to the end. So our new array list is going to be 2, 9, 7, 4, and 8. It's just going to add that to the end. Then we will I++, so this is now 1. And so now I is actually going to be at 9, and I plus 1 is going to be at 7. So I++, we are still less than size minus 1. So in this case, you know that we're going to go up until 4, but let's just continue. So if list.getI is greater than list.getI plus 1, in this case, 9 is list.getI, 7 is list.getI plus 1. 9 is bigger than 7. Just like for the last example, since 8 was bigger than 2. So we will go ahead and do what's inside the if statement. So temp is going to be list.getI, so that's just going to be getI would be 9 in this case. And then it says list.removeI, so we will remove that item. And list.add temp, we will place that item at the end, because that's what add will do if we do not specify an index. So this will be 2, 7, 4, 8, and then the 9 will go at the end. After we do this if statement, we I++, make this a 2. So now, if we were to do getI and getI plus 1, I would now be at position 2. I plus 1 would be at position 3. So in this case, we try again. List.getI is 4. Is that bigger than list.getI plus 1? So what they're asking us is 4 greater than 8? Since this is not true, we do not go into the if statement. So we don't do anything, and we just go on and do I++, which is 3. So once again, Nothing really changed with our array list. So now that I is 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, I is at 8, I plus 1 is at 9, and it's going to ask us if list.getI is greater than list.getI plus 1. List.getI is 8, list.getI plus 1 is 9. Is 8 larger than 9? Since this is not true, we are not going to do anything in this case, and we will I++, making it 4, but in this case 4 is not less than size minus 1 because our size is still 5, so our output is, well, it tells us after we're done with the loop to print out the list, so our output is just our final value of the list, which is 27489. And that is our answer for example F. We'll go on to the next example. For exercise G, we need to see the output of this other thing. So in this case, we have our list 35, 26, 41, and 10. So let's go ahead and start out. It says that we need to start at list.size minus 2 and then go all the way till 0. Well, without even counting the size, which one is list.size minus 2? Well, size minus 1 is going to be the last item. Size minus 2 is going to be the second to last item. So we already know without calculating it which one is size minus 2. That's where our I is going to start, right here. If you're not convinced, the size of the list right now is 4. Size of the list is 4. So that means size minus 2 is just going to be 4 minus 2, which is 2. And just remember, we have 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes, I is at 2. So now what we'll do is we'll actually go ahead and keep track of our variables A and B. So let's see what happens now. So in this case, it tells us to go ahead and go into the loop. A is list.getI, so in that case, list.getI is 41. So we will just say this is 41. B is list.getI plus 1. Well, I plus 1 is just the item just to the right of I. So list.getI plus 1 is 10. So B is 10. Then it tells us if A mod 2 equals 1. So we have to see if 41, which is A, mod 2 equals 1. That's just saying, is this odd? So this is just, is it odd? Because if we modulus 2, that's basically saying, what's the remainder when we divide by 2? If it's 1, that means it's odd. Since 41 mod 2 is equal to 1, that is true. So we'll go ahead and we will actually do what's inside the if statement, which is list.set I to A minus B. Now just remember, set means we're going to set the item at this position to whatever A minus B is. So in this case, list.set I means we are going to change this item for 41, and we are going to change it to whatever A minus B is. A minus B is 41 minus 10 is 31. So this item will now change to a 31. And I'll go ahead and write that out a little nicer so that you will know what it looks like. So that's my new list so far. And we could just erase this little thing, but know that this is the item that is changed. So now we'll I minus minus. I will now go down a peg to 1. So we'll go ahead and start again. Is I still greater than or equal to 0? Yes, it is. So we'll go ahead and do this again. A is list.getI, which is 26. B is list.getI plus 1. I plus 1 is the position just to the right. So this is 31. And now what we will do is we will check the if statement. If a mod 2 equals 1. So let's just go ahead and double check. Is 26 mod 2 equal 1? It is not, because 26 is an even number. So since it's actually equal to 0, we will not do the if statement. We will instead do the else statement. So list.add to position 1, we will add B. So what's going to happen now is this will actually change a little bit. So 35 to position 1, we need to add it. So position 1 is actually 0, 1 right here. So we will go ahead and add in B, which is 31. That's our new item. And then we will go ahead and shift everything else over to the right. So this is our new changed array. Let's continue. So we did the if else. Now we I minus minus. I is now 0. Since that's still greater than or equal to 0, looks like we're good, so we can keep going. So let's keep going through the loop. Int A is list.getI. That is 35. List.getI plus 1 is 31. And so now it's going to ask us this if statement, if A mod 2 equals 1. So A is 35. Is 35 mod 2 equal 1? Since that's the case, we will go ahead and do what's inside the if statement. So we will go ahead, list.set I. So in this case, I is 0. And we will set that item. So we're going to change that to whatever A minus B is. So A minus B is 35 minus 31, which is 4. And I apologize, nothing else changes, just that item. Now that we're finished, let's see, I goes down to -1, but since -1 is not greater than or equal to 0, we stop the loop, so our answer is just going to be this. 4, 31, 26, 31, 10. Let's go on to our final example. So for exercise H, we will do this, which is a little bit different because we have both add and remove in this case. Please keep in mind that from our formula sheet for AP, if we look at our list class, you can see that remove does return something. Remove will take in an index and remove an item, but it returns E, which is basically the object inside the list. So it says it's going to return the element formerly at the specified position. So keep that in mind as we are doing this problem. So for this exercise, we have this list, and I'm going to go ahead and keep track of all the variables. So we have n, I'm going to actually keep track of the size in this case, and because size minus 10, is important because see this little condition here, n is less than or equal to size minus 10. I'm actually going to keep track of that as well. So what I'll first do is, this is my original list, and quickly copy that real quick. And so we start with n being 0. So let's check the size. The size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which means size minus 10 is 0. Let's check to see if our for loop condition is true. Is n less than or equal to size minus 10? Since they are equal, then yes, it is the case. So we'll go ahead and do each of these. So in this case, it says if n mod 4 equals 3. Now let's look. Are we talking about the 7? Are we asking if 7 mod 4 equals 3? Well, actually, we're not really asking that. If I were to ask if the item mod 4 equals 3, I would have said if list.getN mod 4 equals 3. But that's not the case. I'm not trying to grab the item of the list. I'm just looking at the index. So please be careful of that. There's a big difference between n, which is my index, versus get n or get I. Get grabs the item of the list, n is just the index. So since the index is 0, 0 mod 4 is, we'll go ahead and check this, 0 mod 4, is that 3? No, it's just 0. So this is not true, so we go to the else. So this says list.add list.getN. Since n is 0, we are just going to add that in, and since it doesn't tell us an index to put it at, we'll just go ahead and put this item at the end, like so. So that is going to be the result of my list. Let's continue. Let's go ahead and try this with the next item, which is 1. Let me just move some of these things up real quick. So if we n++, we get 1. And let's just ask the question again. Is, we have n, we have the size of our list, which is now, looks like it's 1 more, that's 11. 11 minus 10 is 1, so we look at our condition, that's still true because n is equal to size minus 10. So let's check this. If n mod 4 is 3, is 1 mod 4 equal to 3? Well, it's not. 1 mod 4 is just 1. So because that's true, because that's false, we once again go to the else, which means list.add get n. Since n is 1 this time, we are going to add get n, which is really grabbing the number 15 from the list, and we are going to add that to the end of the list. So now we'll go ahead and n++, so n is now 2. We still have to check our loop condition, so the size of our list has increased to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 minus 10 is 2. Check our while condition. N is still less than or equal to size minus 10, so we'll go ahead and go back into our loop. N is 2. If n mod 4 is 3, 2 mod 4 is 2. So again, the if statement is false. So we'll go ahead, go into the else statement, and list.getN. N is now 2. So get n is going to grab the 8, and that will get added onto the end of the list. So as you can see, that item got added onto the end of the list. I'll just go ahead and circle these other ones showing the new updated values for that stage. Now we'll go ahead and n++ to 3. So let's go ahead and reassess the size. It looks like the size increased again, so now it's 13. 13 minus 10 is 3. So if we go back into our for loop, this condition is still true. So let's go ahead and means we have to enter the loop. So if n mod 4 is 3, well, n is 3. 3 mod 4 is 3 this time, which means we're finally going to go ahead and go into the if statement. It says we are going to list.add 0 and then list.remove n. So always work in the inner parts of the parentheses first. This is not part of our code, by the way. So list.remove n. So n is now 3. So we're going to go ahead and remove that, which will change our list. So here, as you can see, I just removed item 3, or I'm just about to remove it. There we go, which means all the items will shift 1 to the right. I'm sorry, 1 to the left. All the items that are after the item will shift 1 to the left. So we just removed the item. Now we have to do list.add 0. We have to go ahead and add that item to position 0. Well, position 0 is at the very beginning. So since we removed 10, list.remove n is going to be that item that we removed. And we will go ahead and put that at the beginning because it is list.add 0. We're adding it to the 0th position, which means everything else will shift to the right. So as you can see, this is what our list will look like so far. Now if we continue n++, it's 4. Let's reassess this. So the size is, well, it looks like the size didn't change because we removed an item and then added it. So the size is now 13. Let's see, 13 minus 10, size minus 10 is 3. So if we check our while condition, it really looks like this is finally false because it is less than size minus 10. So our final answer is just going to be, well, printing the result of the list, which is this thing right here. I'll try to circle that. And that's it for the notes. Go ahead and start the worksheet that corresponds to this and check your answers in practice it and with the teacher. Thank you.